Dr. Mary Lippitt is a world-renowned expert and speaker in the areas of leadership, strategic thinking, and change implementation. Dr. Lippitt is the developer of the Leadership Spectrum Profile and an award-winning author of Brilliant or Blunder: 6 Ways Leaders Navigate Uncertainty, Opportunity, and Complexity.
Let's talk about making change stick. Change is easy to identify, it's difficult to implement, and by the way, it's likely to fail. History shows us that 70 to 90% of the time, change efforts fail. Now, can we verify this with our own experience? Let's try. Let's think about the time that either we were teenagers or were parents or aunts and uncles of teenagers, and we tried to get a teenager to change. How successful were we? If your experience was like my experience, you barely got a nod and maybe some slight shift in behavior. But if I dared to use the words "because I told you so," the change was immediately rejected. But is it only teenagers that really resist change? Let's think about adults. How many of you are like me that I frequently make the same New Year's resolution over and over again because I did not fulfill it the first time I made the commitment? Now, this is a change that we identified that we wanted to make for ourselves. We were motivated to make this change. But what happens? By February, we even forgot what it was. So is it just people that have trouble with change? No, it's organizations too. In 1975, Congress passed a law requiring organizations by 1992 to adopt the metric system. Now, we're more than 20 years later, and most organizations still are not using the metric system. Now, could this be something that's worldwide? Is it something that's happening all over? No, there are actually only 3 countries right now that aren't using the metric system: the United States, Liberia, and Myanmar. By the way, the system that these 3 countries are using is called the Imperial System, showing again that we're holding on to habit and history rather than making the adjustments we need to make to be fully integrated into international commerce. Now, we understand that there's a wall getting between us and the changes we want. What is it that we can do to surmount that wall? There are 3 things we can do. First, we can change the way we communicate and interact with people while we're planning the change and as well as when we launch it. And by the way, we cannot use the words "because I tell you to." That sounds like "because I told you so." Second, create an execution plan. A change idea is considered rather lofty and nebulous, and it's hard to go from a lofty idea down to something practical. We have to do an execution plan to make sure that people know what to do and things are coordinated, integrated across an organization. And third, what we need to do is to have a change-ready culture. We need to have a culture that doesn't say, "if it ain't broke, we won't fix it." Instead, we need a culture that will say, "if there's an opportunity, we will grab it." These 3 actions, if we use them, can reverse the trend. So instead of having 70 to 90% of our change efforts fail, what we will have is 70 to 90% of those changes succeed.